For those of you who are buying up flour and maybe yeast too, let's put that to use. Let's try something new. Let's make some ciabatta rolls. Stay with me today. This is not as hard as it seems. Just takes some time, but hey, if you're home now, time might be the one thing you have. Let's get started. First thing you do is make the biga. I doubled the recipe because, well, it just didn't make enough. So I put a 1/4 teaspoon of yeast, only a 1/4 teaspoon, and 4 tablespoons of warm water. Let that set for about 5 minutes. Added the 2/3 cup of warm water and the 2 cups of bread flour. Stirred that together. It makes a very stiff dough. I'll show you over here. I made a biga once before this winter on one of the, is it one of the rye breads? I don't remember. But anyway, this looks like a really stiff mess, but it's going to set for 12 to 24 hours. I'll just let it set until tomorrow morning. Okay, it's next morning. The starters has been bubbling all night. This is what we're going to do first. We're going to soften the yeast, and I doubled this. Soften the teaspoon of yeast and the 4 tablespoons of milk, and then I'll let that set for 5 minutes. Throw the starter in, cup and a third of water, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 3 cups of bread flour, and a cup of whole wheat flour, and a tablespoon of salt. And the 5 minutes are up. I'm not sure if that's what creamy is supposed to look like, but we're going with it. I don't think it bubbles as much in milk as it does in water. So let's pour the warm water in again, a little warmer than room temperature. Don't want to kill the yeast. And then we dump this starter in, or this biga. That dough was hanging on for dear life. It did not want to let go of that glass bowl, but we got it in there. Now the next thing we need is a tablespoon of sea salt. Let's dump that in. That's a lot of salt compared to what I just used in the hoagie rolls. It hardly had any salt, but then they had a lot of butter. Okay, and then next is 2 tablespoons of olive oil. 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons. What's next? Flour, and that's it. Okay, so I'll put in 1 cup of whole wheat flour, and I'm not going to put in the full amount of 3 cups of flour. Maybe put in 3 out of the 4 cups total, and then let it go a little bit, and then add the last cup of flour. And this is what it looks like after 3½ cups of flour, and I think I will add the rest of that flour after all. Mix it up, and a little bit of flour in the bottom of the bowl. Just dump this in here. Fold it once, fold it twice. Okay, and we'll just flip it. And then we will, he wants to stick to this bowl too. Goodness. All right, ciabatta. If you've never had ciabatta rolls, especially split and toasted, they are really good. They make great garlic toast. All right, we'll let this go and check on it in about an hour and a half. And then we'll start getting ready to shape it. This is what the dough looks like now. I'm going to plop it out onto a floured board and start cutting up little ciabatta squares. The plan? This is a big massive dough here. We've got some flour down. I'm going to measure, they need to be 4 ounces. I don't think I'm going to measure every single piece here. I don't want to work it too much. I'm going to cut a square, and once I see sort of what 4 ounces is, I have my little scale over here. Once I see what 4 ounces is, then I'll just sort of do the rest that way. Here's the problem. I want big air bubbles, so I don't want to work this dough. I want to just have it sort of like this and just kind of plop it down. I don't want to be kneading it and rolling it out, so they may end up being extremely ugly. Not quite that ugly. All right, I gotta think this through. Okay, this is what I should have done. No matter how much they weigh, just make them into nice little pillows like this. And these are the uglier ones. It ended up making about 14. I made a slight little diagonal slash because last time they kind of puffed up too much, and I sprinkled them with a little bit of flour, which is probably going to burn on the pizza stone. Didn't think that one through. Now, hey, that looks, to see what this one looks like when it's baked, that looks more like the boughten one. And you're getting very close. The oven is only at 361. When that oven hits 425, I'm going to put the first batch in. All right, here goes. The oven is at, oh boy, the oven is at 425. So I'm going to try to slide these onto the pizza stone. You know that that trick with the tablecloth where you like give the tablecloth a jerk and the tablecloth pulls out but everything else stays the same. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like the tablecloth trick, only I have absolutely no finesse. So we'll show you what they look like once they're on the pizza stone. End ones might be hanging off the edge a little bit. Let's get this door closed. Set the timer. I have no idea. What's it say? 425, 425. How long? Oh, 20 minutes, but that's for the actual loaves. I think I baked them for 15 last time. I'll check them at 15. I noticed the one thing the recipe does not tell you is how you get them off of the pizza stone. I just took a peek at the rolls in the oven and decided that slash was not big enough. They're still poofing up too much in the middle. So the ones that I haven't baked yet, I made a little more of a slash in there. Whether I slashed them deeper or not, it made no difference. They ended up looking exactly the same anyway. So there we go. These are my ciabatta. The way I serve them, well, I'll let them completely cool and then I'll freeze them. And then I let them thaw at room temperature. I'll cut them in half this way and then open them up, spread them with some garlic butter and broil them for a few minutes. Make a great addition to any Italian meal or any soup. And that's all for this episode of My Indiana Kitchen. Until next time, this is Lori Fiechter saying ciao.